Back with Bobby and JG Radio. I'm back from my European tour, and I'm so happy that my first guest that I'm going to introduce is Tommy Calvert, Bexar County Commissioner. He's a graduate of Tufts University, which is one of the top 25 colleges here in the United States, with a degree in international relations. Tommy is one of the 5 commissioners here in Bexar County. He's the youngest commissioner, as well as the first African-American commissioner here in the Bexar County area. In addition to that, his county work, Tommy also started his own public relations and public affairs firm, the Calvert International Consulting, in 2002, and he helped found a nonprofit radio station called KROV to help uplift San Antonio's unique urban area. How are you doing today, Tommy?
I'm doing fantastic. Glad you're back safe and sound.
I am too.
Of course, Europe is not a bad place to have a little rest and relaxation.
A little rendezvous. I'm glad I just missed all the chaos in Greece, but
it'll be all right. They're going to work it out.
Yeah, they'll definitely work it out. And we wanted to start with a little bit of real estate, just because we'd never get the great Tommy Calvert here. So let's talk about your neighborhood reinvestment.
Yeah, it was in the paper. Gilbert Garcia wrote a great article about it. San Antonio's probably, you've traveled and you've been around the world and around the country. San Antonio's probably 30 years behind almost every major city in America with respect to reinvesting in its older neighborhoods. And as an elected official, that's really important, because every time we have to build a new street on the periphery, every time we have to build a fire station or a police substation, or in our case, a sheriff's substation, it's a permanent liability on our books. We have to pay that forever.
Right.
And the fiscally conservative thing for us to do is to invest where our streets are, where our fire stations and police substations are, and bring those neighborhoods back to life. Now, the reason I think San Antonio is behind, because in politics as well as the economy, demographics is destiny, and we have a very different demographic mix than most major cities. We are a city that's 76.9% minority, and if you understand that Hispanics have 18 times less wealth than whites and blacks have 20 times less wealth than whites, and it takes a lot of wealth to fix up a home that's 50 or 70 or 100 years old, that is part of the reason we're behind. So what we're calling for is a joint city and county housing bond called the Neighborhood Reinvestment Fund, and that housing bond would really help single family owners. Anybody in Bexar County that has a home over 20 years would be eligible to get, in essence, a complete extreme home makeover. Awesome. And there would be about $100 million that would be for the development community, and we're talking about ownership. So at the city and county level, we tend to subsidize apartments left and right, but to help us deal with this wealth gap, to help us really pass along something that generations can pass on for wealth, we've got to look at condos, and we've got to look at home ownership. And so part of it, we'll put some credit repair in there, we'll put some money for down payment assistance. And the great thing about doing a housing bond is it's the second most stimulative thing you can do for an economy. The people at the hardware stores are going to benefit, the people in title and real estate, everybody's going to benefit in the economy, and you've got a lot of leverage. When you do housing, you get 5 to 7 times leverage. So if we invest $200 million, we'll actually get $1 billion to $1.4 billion in new housing, allowing us to reimagine our city and our county.
Sure. And especially the area that you're in, it's just an older area.
Well, it's both. I mean, I represent about a quarter of the county, so I represent downtown, the heart of the city, the Alamo and the Riverwalk. But I have southeast, so I have Brooks City Base, which has booming new stuff. And I go south of Elmendorf, and then I go all the way east down 10 as if you're going to Houston. I have all the northeast, so I've got Universal City and Live Oak and Selma and Schertz and Cibolo, and so I have the most diverse neighborhoods in town.
The old and the new.
That's right.
So let's talk a little bit about county commissioner, and what does a county commissioner do? What are your responsibilities?
Sure.
I think that people are always confused about that.
Sure. I'm one of 5 chief executives of county government. I'm like a mayor for the unincorporated area. So I oversee everything from emergency services like fire, but I also oversee the budgets of our entire justice system, our entire health system. We build infrastructure. So in terms of the justice system, for example, I oversee the budgets of the district attorney, the sheriff, the county court judges, probation, JPs, constables, juvenile justice. We also oversee the university health system's budget. We assign those folks. We also provide mental health. You may remember in Dallas when Ebola hit, it wasn't the mayor that took over, it was the county judge, because we are state and we supersede the city in a hurricane or major disaster. So We do infrastructure like flood control. The county has, between 2007 and 2017, will have built $500 million in new flood control measures. So we're in charge of flood control. We dabble in housing. We dabble in economic development. We do veterans benefits. We are overseeing the tax assessor collector. So we touch about $6 billion worth of stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
And so with that broad of a spectrum, and speaking of the veterans, so you cover the Randolph Air Force Base.
I have Fort Sam,
Fort
Randolph,
Sam.
and of course Brooks City Base was one of our major institutions, and great home to aerospace, NASA, all kinds of stuff. The monkeys used to be there, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, space monkeys.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And what are some of the things that you're hoping to accomplish during this term that you just...
Well, when you're an elected official, it hits you really about public safety. Public safety, that you have the public safety in your hands. You realize how serious that is. That's a serious thing, and so we're looking forward to increasing response times for our residents. Unfortunately, our sheriff's deputies have been in some of the furthest places away. So we've got a Northeast Sheriff substation. We've got a 52-acre satellite office. It's going to have every service in the county there, the Neighborhood Reinvestment Fund, and jobs. We're going to focus on the fact that San Antonio's low-wage economy, we can get rising by skilled trades and college. I went to a top 25 college, but by no means should we boo-hoo being a mechanic or being in construction or plumber or in cyber war. You don't need a college degree for that, and they're great paying jobs. So we're going to focus on both of those.